You know, folk and Americana is very much a large blanket term covering kind of many different subgenres, but um, chamber folk is a subgenre that people have used to describe our music, which there's not. I mean, we will do a bit of improvisation um, at our live shows, but in terms of the recorded music, all the parts are very much meticulously figured out before recording, and so there's a lot of weaving parts, not just in our harmonies and our instrumentation, but in the past we've had strings and things to just expand the arrangements, and so I think chamber folk fits into. There we go. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. It's so great to talk to you.
Likewise. Yeah, thanks for talking to us today.
So it's Chloe, Noah, and Andy at the back there.
Yep.
Wonderful. I love your music. I love the band, everything, the whole way you do it. So I'm so happy to be able to talk to you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy to talk.
So tell me the three musicians. I see there's a bass player. Who's the bass? Is it Andy? Yeah. And guitar and violin as well. Chloe, I see you play the violin as well.
Yeah, and Noah plays the guitar.
Oh, okay.
Narrowing it down.
So how did this band come together? Are you all friends?
Yeah. So Chloe and I were married, but we started playing together way back in 2012 when we were in eighth grade. And Lincoln is Lincoln, Nebraska is a city, but it's a fairly small city, and when of course now we've made lots of friends in the music scene here, but at the time, we weren't friends with we didn't grow up with a lot of musicians, and so I think Chloe and I just became friends, and then discovered that we both play music, and not only that, but acoustic music or folk music, kind of stuff that we were raised on, and we just started learning tunes together and working on writing some songs, and then we went to high school with Andy. So Andy was a grade above, and he was in a band called Scarlet Streets, and Chloe and I and Scarlet Streets would play together, and then shortly after high school, around 2017, then Andy joined Wildwoods, and we were kind of in college, touring regionally throughout college and throughout breaks from school, but in 2021, we really kind of branded as a trio and set off for more national tours, and started focusing mainly on the three-part harmony that we do now.
But are you self-taught musicians, or you all played? Did you learn in school, or what was the music journey for you?
So I took violin lessons. That was my first instrument that I ever learned, and I did that all throughout elementary school, middle school, high school.
Oh, okay.
I'm primarily classically trained, but I've taken like bluegrass fiddle lessons here and there with it. So yeah, I took lessons. Noah is self-taught.
Kind of, not really.
Well, I guess you
I
took
don't know.
piano lessons.
I grew up taking piano lessons, but I was a very defiant child. And, my teacher really wanted to focus on classical music, but luckily she was a very versatile piano player, and, she loved songwriting, and I think she could see that I was not into the class. I mean, I love classical music now, but back as a child, I just wanted to kind of make my own music and learn Beatles songs.
I
And
love
so,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so luckily she was very encouraging of me,
Yeah.
really focusing on learning chord progressions and how, different parts of songs fit together and whatnot. So I think
Well,
that was a
yeah, I speak to a lot of musicians who are self-taught, and then also musicians who took lessons or went to music school or some. And I find it so interesting how some people have just a affinity for the instrument and then explore and experiment, to get to where they want to be. And Andy, what's your story?
I took guitar lessons starting in eighth grade and kind of like into high school. And then I feel like I kind of started improving more once I started playing in bands with people and like playing with people more. And that's when I started to hone the craft a little bit more and try to figure things out. Also, very much trying to learn Beatles songs, I feel like was the impetus of like, oh, I like this. And this kind of,
Amazing.
You're
Yeah.
self-taught on the bass though too, aren't you?
yeah.
Andy only started
That's
playing
great. Yeah.
upright bass back in what, 2022?
23, about a year and a half ago.
Even though he's really got the chops on it, so it's been
Amazing, yeah. But this is what I love, I think it's, and also how certain instruments, how certain people are attracted to certain instruments, that the sound of the instrument really connects with the person, and then they start playing it, and it seems that then there's something, that that eagerness to find out what the instrument can do.
yeah.
Totally.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Do you find also that okay, Chloe, you had the lessons and so on, but do you find also as a band coming together that the three of you that you sort of that it's that connection that you have the confidence to experiment a little bit more, or that you try different things with the instrument?
I think definitely. Like between the three of us, I guess I might just be speaking for myself, but because Andy plays with a lot of other people too, but I feel the most comfortable doing that with these guys. It is very uncomfortable for me to sit in with another band without having practiced for a few times before performing. It's very uncomfortable for me to do things like that. I know it's really good to do as a musician, but I do feel maybe it's just because we always are playing together. I feel the most comfortable around them trying new things.
But your music is, I try to sort of, do you say it's folk music or country music? There's a, sort of me overlapping bit, or what do you call the music that you do?
Yeah, we've kind of gone back and forth with I don't know what genre we would insert ourselves into, and
Is it the Wildwoods genre?
yeah.
Yeah.
But folk and Americana is very much a large blanket term covering kind of many different subgenres. But um, chamber folk is a subgenre that people have used to describe our music, which there's not. I mean, we will do a bit of improvisation at our live shows, but in terms of the recorded music, all the parts are very much meticulously figured out before recording, and so there's a lot of weaving parts, not just in our harmonies and our instrumentation, but in the past we've had strings and things to just expand the arrangements, and so I think chamber folk fits into
I think so too. Yeah, like our original music is very structured. Like there are specific parts in certain sections that I don't know, it's very like well thought out. Each song is. It's not like we're jamming on certain chords for like for X amount of measures at any time. We're always just kind of sticking to the way that the song was arranged, I guess.
But it also, and where's the Wildwoods part? Because you do play outside. You know, your videos are all sort of. Is that the sort of the image that you want to go with? You know, that it looks so folky and outside and in the woods and.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we do aim for that aesthetic with our music as well, because with the three-part harmonies, I like our music to sound very just natural and organic and just kind of like, yeah, naturey, being out in the woods and playing music together. I don't know, I feel like the vibe of that scenery fits our vibe as a band as a whole.
But do you actually go out and play there for a specific reason, or is it just for the videos, or you know, to build that image?
I feel like it's primarily for the videos and for the online image, I guess. I mean, it's not like we're practicing for hours outside every day in the woods.
Okay.
Well, yeah, a lot of times it's just we travel so much, and we're always kind of ending up finding really pretty spots, around the country. And like we did a bunch of videos in a redwood forest in California last month, and we just happened to kind of stumble upon that when we were driving. And so yeah, it's just these
it. Yeah.
It's also kind of a way for us to see a lot of the country, because when we're on tour, we don't have very much time to go out and see the sights and like do fun things. So we always make a point to try to film our videos in like a pretty place that we would also enjoy just being in and seeing.
Mm. And so the three of you, do you write the music together, or who writes the music?
So typically I will write the music, but I'll kind of have a rough outline, so to speak, of the song, and then bring it to Chloe and Andy, and then we kind of just mold it into something that works for all of us. Just just because we want the harmonies to flow and blend as smoothly as possible, and we kind of mold it into what we perform. So
That's wonderful. I mean, that's it's great that you can get together and then sort of work together on that.
yeah, we love working through music together, and we of course, a lot of what we post online are cover videos, but we like to kind of get together and just try to put our own soft spin on a lot of other people's songs, which I feel like is great practice for implementing what we learned doing that into our own songwriting. And yeah.
And you, in where you are and where you are sort of promoting your music, and so is that the type of music that people are interested in? Is it? Do you have your? Is that the type of? How can I say? It says that genre. That's something that people are very much interested in.
Yeah, here in Lincoln, we're like one of like 3 or 4 bands that do this genre. Luckily, we've just because we've played so much throughout the years around Lincoln, Nebraska, where we live, that we've gained a real wonderful following here in our hometown. But it's not a genre you see a whole lot of around here. Luckily, the internet makes it easy to connect with a lot of other groups of our genre. And so we've met many people across the country that share an affinity for this kind of music. But
it is very interesting to see, especially when we're touring, what areas of the country.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, what most people gravitate towards to this kind of music, because there are certain areas that we've played in where we have more people coming out to our shows, and you can tell there's more of an appreciation for that style, or even just We've gone to a couple festivals in different states, and it's kind of crazy to see how many folk fans there are in certain areas compared to others, like Nebraska. I think there's a lot more than we know about that haven't like come out of the woodwork yet,
Okay.
and but I don't know. It's really inspiring to see all the different areas. How
Yeah,
different-
because it's quite a unique sound, you know, and I this is why also when I came across you on Instagram, I was immediately like, whoa, you know, this feels very much different to what we always hear. So this is why I'm asking. It's you know, it seems very authentic also.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like that's
That's the goal.
yeah, that is something we always aim for because, I mean, there are fans of music, like other genres of music, where I feel like if we switched our genre, it'd be a lot easier to gain a bigger following than we have now.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like we've always tried to stay true to the music that we like to create and haven't strayed from that because if we're not enjoying what we're making, then what's the point of doing it at all?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's also a time where we are now where people want to be authentic and they want to, you know, be real and not just commercially, you know, doing something that's commercially sellable.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the
Sorry?
silver. I think that's one of the silver linings with AI and how much that's advancing, and especially for commercial stuff. I feel like with just how it just like blows my mind, like how AI can just like create songs, like make a song like this artist, and it can just like do that. And I feel like that's going to be so much more widespread to the point where people are going to really value like live music and authenticity. And I feel like there's
Absolutely.
some genres where that could dilute the whole market and like, you know, maybe put some people out of work. But I feel like for what we do, it's only going to like increase people's yearning to hear something real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like we were talking, Noah and I were talking the other day and just about our genre of music. And you said something that was like, essentially, it was like being authentic will, it's like timeless. It will stand the test of time. But if we're trying to be someone that we're not, it's not gonna continue on forever.
Absolutely. And Andy, what you were saying about, you know, that the fact that AI can do now, you know, or people can create music through it. But it was really over the past months that I found that artists that I spoke to would talk about, you know, doing their own thing, being authentic, you know, wanting to write music to express what they feel and not what the market wants, you know. And I they seem to be in all aspects of art seem to be that line going through where people are really standing for it and really saying, well, I want to express myself in an authentic way or the way I want. And especially singer-songwriters saying, I don't care anymore about what sells or what not, but I want to express what I want to express. So I think you're absolutely right. And I think bands like you who really, you can really sense that also when you go on your page and you listen to the music, that this is coming from a real place.
That's
Yeah.
good that you see that because I'm always worried if we're being real enough to people. I don't want to.
Because AI is a very, very scary and you know, damaging thing, I think, to all avenues of art. But
I think, you know, I think you won't be able, AI won't be able to do something about what you are doing. So I think just keep on doing what you're doing. And but who's the businessman in the group, in the trio? Who's doing all the admin and the concert planning and all that?
Businesswoman.
Businesswomen. I have to be politically correct.
I kind of take care of all that stuff. We
Really?
luckily now we've started to build a small team of people that help us with certain things. So we don't have to book our own shows anymore, which is super nice. That is something that is not an enjoyable thing to do, but it needs to be done. So I'm glad that we have someone that's their job. And we started working with a publicist now too, who helps us with our with getting interviews and radio promotion. And now we also started working with a new manager too. So hopefully that will help with all the other
Amazing. Mm.
things.
Yeah, so you're just in the control of the music and the artistic side of things.
Yeah, we're slowly moving towards that. So that'll be so nice when that finally happens.
Yeah.
That's always everybody's wish, that somebody else can do the emails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third.
So tell me, but what are your wishes for the future? What is the dream for the Wildwoods?
Gosh, the dream is to just continue to just spread our music to as many people as possible. Continue to spread positivity and authenticity, and for personal dreams, I guess, just to be able to for all musicians, there's the financial aspect of things being quite unstable, or the income fluctuates a lot. So to get to a place where yeah, it's really just about focusing 100% on the music and having no stresses or worries about any financial aspects of life. Chloe and I would love to have a family someday, and so getting to a spot where things are stable enough for that. And yeah, I guess
Amazing.
dreams. So,
Andy, and your dream?
Man, I think definitely kind of like what Noah was saying, to be able just to, not have all sorts of like riches, but just be able to have a comfortable life and be able to sustain ourselves just through playing music. And one of my favorite things that's happened over the last couple years is, we'll go online and we'll see a video of somebody, and there's been like people in Brazil and people in Japan who have like covered songs of ours and like posted it, and it just blows my mind that not only is our music making it there, but it's inspiring people from these different cultures to want to play the song themselves and try it. And or like we've started posting a lot on this app called Red Note. It's like primarily used in China, and like a culture that none of us really knew much about. And I feel like all you ever hear is, just like headlines from the news about this, that, the other thing, of like geopolitical, turmoil and stuff. But like having those people like respond to the videos, and just like the sweetest comments, or like draw pictures of us, and just like tell us, like we have a song called "I Will Follow You to Willow" that comes out Friday.
Yeah, on Friday.
On Friday.
Okay.
Posted little snippets of that one, and one of the people there from China commented how it's like an old like Chinese like custom where if somebody was leaving their town, like their family would follow them all the way up to the willow trees, like as they
Wow.
farewell. And so that's not anything that, like, at least I imagine that Noah had in mind when he wrote the song, but it was just kind of just like never ceases to blow my mind when our music is
Amazing.
wild thing.
that's definitely part of
And interesting, isn't it? It's and also sometimes when I speak to painters, and they say they're fascinated by what people read in the painting, what people see in the painting, what they get from the painting, and then it was something that the painter never thought about. But this is then now with the song as well, that somebody else, it's connected with them in that way. So that's that association that they made.
Yeah, it's really cool to see the reach that our music has, because sometimes I don't think we realize it until we sift through all the comments on things and see how it's affecting people. But it's
Yeah.
really cool that something that we created can touch so many people.
Yeah.
And it's also because it comes from that place, you know, it comes from an authentic place, then it's bound to touch somebody, because if that's a real emotion, then it has to connect with somebody else's real emotion.
Totally.
I feel that a lot when I'm like, when I find a new artist that I love, or even just with the artists that I love to listen to, I feel like I gravitate towards people where they just seem so authentic that it doesn't even seem like they're trying to, they're not even trying, they're just putting out something that they would create anyway. And if people like it, they like it, and if they don't, they don't. But I feel like that is why their music reaches so many people, because they're just being themselves in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Chloe, and what is your dream?
My dream. My dream is similar to Noah's. It's kind of crazy because we've set like little goals for ourselves throughout like the start of this band, and I never thought that today we would be able to be touring and playing music for a living and not doing anything else. Like, we're making our lives off of making music, which is the ultimate dream. So we're already kind of living my dream, but also just to be able to continue to do this in a comfortable way where we can, each of us can have families and have houses and still play music together, and yeah, I don't know, just live a life filled with music.
Well, it's beautiful wishes. And really, I hope for you all that they come true, and that you can keep on doing music and making such beautiful music.
Oh,
But
thank you.
I forgot to ask you, where did the name come from, the Wildwoods?
This has been a debate on exactly how we came up with it. Just because, like I said, when we first started, we were 14 years old, and so from what I remember, I remember Chloe's mom driving us around because we were trying to find a band name, but we just weren't coming up with anything that we thought was good enough. And so we were driving around just to kind of look at, try to get some inspiration from road signs or just, things we would see outside. And I remember seeing Wildwood on multiple things. Like, there's a Wildwood Lake, there's a Wildwood Road outside
Okay.
outside of Lincoln, and there's, just many Wildwood things, and that's how I remember.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like we first saw a street that was called Wildwood Road, and then as we kept driving around, we kept seeing just little hints of the word Wildwood come up in random spots, and it just spoke to us. I guess it sounded folky enough, so we're like, okay, that'll work.
But
Yeah.
it suits the band so perfectly.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's almost as if at first I thought you were an Irish band, because it sort of had that Irish folk sound for me.
Oh,
Yeah, I
thanks.
could see that.
Wonderful.
Yeah. But guys, this was so great to talk to you.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
Likewise. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure. No, I absolutely love your music, and I think it's so great that and you are so real as your music is as well, that I get from this interview. So
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, no, so definitely. I hope you come and tour Europe one day.
Same
Yeah.
with us.
Oh,
We
that's-
would
That's a
love
dream
to.
of ours too.
Yeah, we should have mentioned that. Yeah.
Need to.
Let's make the wish.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, totally.
That would be great.